Gracias. Pues tenía la presentación y algunas fotos y videos, pero no lo puedo hacer porque no está el y tal vez pudiera enseñarles algunas cosas de aquí, pero no sé si va a ser lo mejor y lo más sabio. Estaremos presentando parte de lo que es un programa, un libro que estamos escribiendo acerca de lo que es la Iglesia de Cristo, pero reitero, no lo podemos mostrar de la mejor manera porque no se encuentra la tele. Ojalá mañana ya pueda estar la tele y pueda yo hacer anuncios sin ningún problema. Muchas gracias, mío. ¿Okay? Primero, vamos a ver lo que significa la palabra iglesia. Vamos a ver lo que significa la palabra iglesia. ¿Ustedes saben qué significa la palabra iglesia? Vamos a empezar con la palabra iglesia. Do you know what that means? Iglesia. Nobody? Yes. Reunión, muy bien, reunión, ok. So vamos a empezar con su origen, ok. Primero, nosotros le llamamos iglesia, ok. Y la palabra iglesia es en lenguaje en español. Porque en inglés, ¿cómo es? Muy bien. Les voy a decir por qué es más bonito el español, ok, que el inglés. La iglesia, la palabra iglesia, viene de una palabra del griego, pues la Biblia se escribió en 3 idiomas, ok. Número 1, hebreo. Número 2, arameo. Y número 3, griego. Son 3 idiomas en los que escribe la Biblia, ¿ok? El español no se ve ahí, pero lo que sí se ve es el griego. El griego, todo el Nuevo Testamento, menos el Evangelio de Mateo, se escribe en griego. Todo el Nuevo Testamento se escribe en griego, menos el Evangelio de Mateo que se escribe en hebreo, ¿ok? La palabra iglesia viene de la palabra eclesia, ¿ok? Del griego eclesia. Es una palabra transliterada. Quiere decir, transliteración no es traducción. Transliteración es, tienes una palabra en un idioma y no se traduce y simplemente se trata de decir. Como por ejemplo en español, Facebook. ¿Es Facebook la traducción de Facebook? How would you translate Facebook? Cara libro. That will be the translation. Pero that doesn't sound good. Lo que hacemos es que hacemos una transliteración. So, la palabra iglesia es la transliteración de eclesia. ¿Todos juntos? Eclesia. ¿Ok? Ahora, la palabra eclesia viene de 2 palabras en hebreo. Lo tenía todo en mi... ¿Ok? La primera palabra es kaleo y la otra palabra es cajal. ¿Ok? Esta es la palabra en hebreo. ¿Ok? Esta palabra se utilizaba en el Antiguo Testamento para decir, número 1, convocación. Número 2, congregación. Número 3, asamblea. ¿Qué lenguaje es este? ¿Qué lenguaje es este? ¿Qué lenguaje es este? Español. ¿Qué significa esta palabra? Número 1, convocación. Número 2, número 3, asamblea. Ahora, los judíos tenían un templo. Adoraban en un templo en Israel, en la ciudad de Jerusalén. Ahí estaba el templo. ¿Todos me están siguiendo? Okay. La palabra templo viene de la palabra hebrea beit, que se traduce como casa, o como templo, o como palacio. En el Antiguo Testamento los judíos iban todos a adorar a Jerusalén 3 veces al año, en 3 fiestas judías. Were you aware of that? No? I'll tell you what son las fiestas. Número 1, la primera fiesta, panes sin levadura. Número 2, la fiesta de las semanas o Shabbat, o lo que le llamamos Pentecostés. ¿Ok? Y número 3, la fiesta del Sukkot, o lo que se llama tabernáculos. Tabernáculos son tiendas portátiles. Los judíos salieron de Egipto, viajaron hacia Tierra Prometida Y mientras viajaron por 40 años, estuvieron en tabernáculos, en tiendas de campaña. ¿Ok? So, ellos viajaron hacia allá. Cuando se reunían los judíos, they will worship God 3 times a year. Panes sin levadura, Pentecostés y tabernáculos. Everybody from all over the world, they will travel to Jerusalem, Jerusalén, and they will worship God at the Beit, templo, casa, palacio. In fact, Beit también puede significar familia. ¿Ok? En el año 33 después de Cristo, muere Jesús. Jesús muere. Cuando Jesús muere, pasan aproximadamente primero 40 días y luego 50 días. ¿Ok? Jesús muere, pasan 50 días, es el día del Pentecostés. La palabra Pentecostés es una palabra griega. Pente, 50 significa. Esto significa 50, 50. Esto es 50 días después de la Pascua. ¿Ok? Entonces, ¿cómo se reunían los judíos y dónde antes? Jerusalén, muy bien. Todos se reunían. ¿Cuántas veces al año? 3 veces. ¿En qué fiestas? Y tabernáculos. Son 3 fiestas, ¿ok? Ahora, pero también los judíos se reunían antes de eso en lo que se le llamaba la sinagoga. ¿Ok? Se reunían aquí cada día sábado, el Shabbat, 1, 2, 3. Eso es sábado en hebreo, Shabbat. Se reunían aquí cada sábado. Pero 3 veces al año iban al templo, a Jerusalén. Y aquí cada sábado. La sinagoga nace aproximadamente 500 años antes de Cristo. ¿Ok? Después del exilio de Babilonia. I'm going to get you to Ecclesia, okay? Just be patient with me, okay? Pero quiero mostrarles qué hacían en la sinagoga. Esto es un ejemplo de la sinagoga. ¿Sí lo ven todos? Tomorrow, hopefully, I can figure that out, okay? La sinagoga. Primero, ¿qué significa la palabra sinagoga? Sinagoga significa, de latín sinagoge, que significa juntarlos otra vez. ¿Ok? Juntarlos otra ¿qué? Otra vez. Every Saturday, yes.
No, las clases se van a acabar a las 12:30.
12:30.
Sí.
12:30.
Sí.
12:30.
Sí.
Ok. ¿En 1 hora? Ok. Oh, wow. Ok. Entonces, ¿qué significa sinagoga? Ok. ¿Cada cuándo se juntaban? El sábado. La sinagoga servía para 3 propósitos. So you got to think about this, okay? You have the Jewish people. They are taken from Israel, from the Assyrians, and from Babylonia. And they are taken to their lands. Over there, they're far away from the temple. So they cannot worship God. Because they're too far away from the temple. What do? They cannot go back to Jerusalem to worship. So they start gathering in their towns and they form sinagogas. Okay? So, ¿cómo adoraban o cómo se veía un servicio en la sinagoga? Let me explain to you what a synagogue is first, okay? Sinagoga, you have a synagoga, okay? I'll explain this tomorrow con el dibujo más verde. I'll just give an idea here, okay? Tienes una sinagoga, okay? Primer cuarto. Segundo cuarto. Tercer cuarto. cuarto. ¿Ok? ¿Qué significa sinagoga? Ali? Ok. Every what? Shabbat. Now you're learning Hebrew. Every Shabbat you get them together here, okay? Why? Porque they are not in Jerusalem. So, ¿para qué sirve la sinagoga? Número 1, para enseñar la ley de Dios. ¿Ok? Número 2, como un municipio. ¿Cómo se traduce municipio en inglés? ¿Ah?
City.
City Hall. There you go. ¿Ok? Para enseñar, para como municipio y como una corte también. So you got the Jewish people in different towns, and if they have a problem, let's say two people fight, or let's say you have a wife, your wife's name will be Esther. And let's say you like Esther, and you take Esther away from him. You like that? Oh, yeah. He does like that. So, he's mad. He's upset. No puede ir con los de Babilonia ni con los de Siria because they don't care about him. So, he needs to go to the synagogue and tell the person in charge, which is, número 1, el rabí, which means teacher, maestro. Okay? Rabí, número 1. Rabí tenía una esposa que se llamaba ¿cómo? And what is your name? Misael. He took her away from me. Can I believe it? Me la robó, right? And then he's all crying. El rabí decide. He will decide what to do. What will you do? Grace, what will you do? Stone him to death. No. How would you know what to do? La ley. Torah means la ley. La ley es el Pentateuco. Pentateuco is Genesis. What else? What else? What else? What else? Very good. Pero ¿qué significa la palabra Pentateuco? I will teach you now. Pentateuco, because you don't know. How do I know you don't know? Because I will ask you. Okay? Lista. What does it mean, mija, Pentateuco? Cinco libros. No. I'll tell you what it means, okay? Penta means 5. Teuco means box. Did you know that? Why? Because there were 5 boxes in the synagogue where you will put each scroll of the law, like Genesis, Exodus, etc., etc. So that's what Pentateuco means. Have you learned something new already? Okay, let's go back to the synagogue. So you have a problem. Misael has a wife. Her name is what? Esther. Misael is a player. He took Esther away from. Now, I'm the rabbi. So el rabbi. I must decide what to do. Where do I go to know what to do? The Torah or la ley or Pentateuco es griego. Torah es hebreo. Okay? Are you following me? Okay. Now, I don't know what to do because I'm not very experienced. They are somebody above me. Another rabbi that is bigger than me. Se le llama ese rabbi Rabboni. Rabboni is the biggest rabbi in the synagogue. He is the guy that knows what's going on. I have a big issue like David. Tenía una esposa que era Esther. And then Messiah was a player. He came to the house, took away. The rabbi was like, I don't know what to do. The Rabboni will be like, this is what we're going to do. We're going to take him down through the law of Moses. Let's see what the law of Moses says. That's what we're going to do. And then there was somebody below the rabbi. Su nombre es Rabbi. So you got three. The lowest is, the middle one is, and the biggest is. Are you following me? Okay. Enseña la ley. First objective of the synagogue. They teach it Saturday, the Shabbat. But that is the school of their children too. This is where they go to school to learn the law of Moses. The rabbi teaches, the rabbi teaches teens, and the rabbi teaches the oldest. Okay? This is what is used. Número dos, se usa para municipio, like a city hall. What does that mean? It means that if you need help, let's say you are broke. Let's say you got married, Kenya. You got married, okay? You have how many children? No. How many children? You're Jewish. 10. There you go. So she has 10 children. Okay? And then she's broke. Well, if you're broke here, where do you go to get food stamps? You go I don't know, but you go somewhere else, right? Back in the synagogue, when you go to the synagogue and you say, oh, my name is Kenya. Oh, I have 10 children and they're all hungry. I don't know what to do. Rabbi, help me out. The rabbi will send them to what's called the servidor or el diáconos. Okay? And the diáconos will be like, oh, how many children do you have, Kenya? She will be like, I have 10. You didn't have Wi-Fi? What's going on? No, I just had 10 children. He will go to room number 2, and that's where they store trigo, cebada, oil, everything else. So, who will go get that? The diáconos, el servidor. He will go to the room number 2, grab what he needs, take it to Kenya, and Kenya will leave all happy and excited. Let me tell you one thing, okay? Most of the synagogues have 2 floors. Floor number 1 and floor number, you're so smart. Okay? Most of them, not all of them, depending on the village. Okay? Número 1 is where the men are. Número 2 is where the ladies are. The ladies cannot speak. The men can speak. The ladies they're looking at the men and the rabbis discussing the law. They're like, oh, interesante. But they cannot speak. Where did they get this from? From the temple. The temple has a courtyard. First floor, the men. Second floor, the ladies. Then the temple got bigger. First courtyard, the men. Second courtyard, the ladies. Are you guys following me? Okay, so they got this from here. Why am I teaching you this? This is important, okay? Luego tienes aquí lo que es el atrio, el acceso. Ok, pero también servía como corte por si tenías problemas, como en el caso de David. Y aquí tienes lo que se llama un mikvaot. Juntos, mikvaot. 1, 2, 3. Now, what is a mikvaot? What is a mikvaot? A mikvaot, you see right here, is a baptistry, un bauticerio. It's in the entrance of the synagogue. Now, when you go to the synagogue, you go to the baptistry, and you get in the water, and you baptize yourself. Nobody baptizes you. You baptize yourself. You get out of the mikvaot, and then you can enter the synagogue. When you go the Shabbat or certain feasts of the law of Moses, This happened when they were in Babylonia and when they were Assyria. Okay? Now you got Nehemiah coming back to Jerusalem. They rebuilt the temple, but they kept the synagogues all over the land. That's what we're going to call la diáspora o la dispersión. You have Jews all over the land. And in every town that there's Jews, you have a, that means, what was a Shabbat service like in the synagogue? ¿Cómo era un servicio? Do you know? I will tell you. ¿Cómo era un servicio? Do you know? I will tell you. Número uno, ¿ok? Entra toda la gente. Adentro de la sinagoga, you have un altar, un arca, una silla. You have altar, arca y en el arca you have the scrolls. Not only you have the Pentateuch there, but you have the scrolls of the prophets. Okay, and there is like an order. So I go in to the altar, I grab the scroll, I have to start with the law of Moses. It could be any book. Génesis, Éxodo, Levítico, no importa. And then I have to go into the prophets. You cannot do the prophets first. Because if you do the prophets, you are making a huge what? Mistake. When Jesus was in Nazareth, he went to the prophets first. That's why they wanted to kill him. Because he's supposed to do the law of Moses first. ¿Todos me están siguiendo? Are you here? Okay. So, what do you do here? Número uno, you pray. Número uno, you what? Número dos, you sing. You cannot bring instruments inside the synagogue. It is forbidden. You cannot bring instrumental music inside the synagogue. It is prohibited. You cannot bring like a arpa, like David. No. You cannot bring a trumpet. No. You bring nothing, because it is the synagogue where the law is being taught to all of the Jews. Número tres, you study. You study. What do you study? What do you study? The Torah, and what do you pull first? The Torah, the ley de Moisés. So, you have a minister, the diakonos, names who's going to teach. Today we're going to have teach Louis. Louis comes over, the minister grabs the scrolls and gives it to Louis. Louis comes over, opens up, and does it. If it's a small synagogue, Louis could take the scrolls by himself. The synagogue size is dependent upon how many people in that village. And then every Saturday too, you do an offering. What is the offering for? You do the offering so they can keep that offering in what room? Room number 2. For what? To help Kenya, because she has 10 children. Are you following me? This is the synagogue. Back in the day. This is the synagogue. 400 years before Christ. All over the land, not just in Israel. You had synagogues in Babylonia, which is Iraq, and Persia, which is Iran, okay, in Syria, in Damascus, which is Syria, in Turkey, and Turkey, which back in the day was Anatolia or Asia Menor, in Roma, in Greece, all over the place you got synagogues. And this is what they do. What day? No. Shabbat. Now, when does the Shabbat start? I'll tell you. It starts Friday night. Friday, at what time? When you're able to see 3 stars in the sky. Do you know that? Why? Because the Bible says so. La Biblia dice que los días comienzan y terminan con de la tarde anterior hasta el próximo final del día. So in our time, when does, what is today? Today is Wednesday. ¿Cuándo acaba el miércoles? In our time. ¿Cuándo? A las 12. But that is wrong. In Bible times. Wednesday doesn't start until, it started actually yesterday when you could see 3 stars in the sky. And it will be over when you see 3 more stars tonight. And then it's done. So when do you start celebrating Shabbat? Friday night. Okay? And you have this service. The Jewish will be most of the day, if not all of the day, in the synagogue. See, you complain because you go to church on Sunday for how many hours? How many? 2, 3? Well, they were there all day. Yeah, that's exclamation. You wanted to do that? I know, you're excited. Okay. Are you following me? Raise your hand if you're following me. Here we go. All of these I had it here, but we don't have a TV. Okay? I'm going to raise this, okay? You guys ready? I'll erase it. You should know this by now. Every detail. I'm just going to leave this here. So I'm going to make a test the last day. Ready? Jesus dies, 33, Día del Pentecostés. All the Jewish are there because they have to go there because it is mandated by God. You have to be in Jerusalem. 33. They all go to Jerusalem and they are there. They hear the gospel and they convert. How? By arrepentimiento y bautismo. Right? And then they become part of the, which means, dos palabras, ek, fuera de, Iglesia, juntar o congregar. Okay? Iglesia. So they go, now, they get baptized. Now, I'm going to ask you one question. En el primer, cuando se bautizaron ellos, was that something strange and weird for them to get baptized? Why? They will do that every Saturday when they will go to the synagogue. So to them is like, this is not. But the baptism from Acts 2 is different. Because this baptism was ordained, lo mandó, fue mandado por Jesús. So es el bautismo de Jesús. That's why it's different. Okay, let us read. Acts chapter 2, verse 41. 241. 241. 241. 241. 241. Molly, you got 241? She's close. Ali, you got 241? 241. Yes. Listen, listen. Así que los que recibieron, what else? Fueron bautizados. Primero, dice la Biblia, recibieron la palabra, fueron bautizados y se añadieron aquel día, ¿como cuántos? 3,000. This is the number of the first Christians. Where did they get baptized? In the temple. Right next to the temple. When you exit the temple, okay? On the south side of the temple, you have thousands of baptistries. Because when you go to the temple, you have to get baptized before you go up to the temple. But this baptism is different from any other one. Because this is commanded by who? So, recibieron la palabra, se bautizaron, se añadieron ¿cuántos? 3,000. This right here is the Ecclesia, the Iglesia. But it's different. Because this is the Ecclesia de quién? De Cristo. Why? Because He commanded the baptism. Raise your hand if you're getting it. Are you following me? Before this, there was an Ecclesia, a Kahal, the Jewish people. But to become the Church of Christ, the Ecclesia de Cristo, tenía que ser el bautismo ordenado por Jesús, to become part of the congregación, convocación, asamblea, fuera de Jesús, de Cristo. And what is Cristo? What does Cristo mean? Cristo, ¿verdad? Christus, okay, griego, mesiaka, which means ungido. I talk about that in the sermon. Baptism es ungimiento. Y se añadieron como 3,000. Now read verse 47. Anybody? 247. El Señor añadía cada día a los que iban de ser salvos. El Señor, Jesús, añadía cada día a la iglesia, a la eclesia, a la cajal, los que habían de ser salvos. Now we have the beginning of the church. These people that were here on the day of Pentecost, muchos hombres de todas partes del mundo, ¿dónde se reunían ellos en sus lugares de origen? Like Macedonia and Cappadocia. And where did they used to gather? The synagogues, right? Every what? Every Saturday. And what did they used to do every Saturday? Número uno, they used to orar. They used to sing. With instruments? No, it's forbidden. Número tres, teach. Número cuatro, offering. Now, what does that look like to you? Huh? Sunday morning, voila. Oh, you're so smart, Kenya. That looks like Sunday morning. Isn't that interesting? All right. So, se bautizaron 3,000. Hechos 2:47 dice que el Señor añadía a cada uno de los que iban a ser de la iglesia. All those men that were in Jerusalem went back home. But now, they're not just an ecclesia, they are the ecclesia de Cristo, because they were baptized from the baptism of Jesus. So they go back. Now, where do they go? They go back home, and they go back home, and they're like, okay, we're here, we're Macedonia, we're in Cappadocia, we're in Lystra, we're in Derbe, we're in Rome. So we're back home. So we keep going to the synagogue. Because we are Jewish, somos judíos. Okay? Here we go. You guys got this? Everybody here with me? Okay. Am I going too fast? Okay. I'm telling you about the story of the church, okay? And tomorrow I'll show you some videos. Hopefully they'll let me, and pictures about the churches of Christ in the first century. Okay? Judíos. Back in the first century, 33 después de Cristo, in the church, solamente tienes que judíos. But we need to explain what a judío is. David, do you know what a judío is? Huh? Huh? No. You don't. Joanna, do you know? Like, I have no clue. You know what a Mexican is? Yes, okay. Here we go, okay? Judío It is not a race. No es una raza. ¿Ok? Judío, it's a religion. Everyone that follows the law of or the Pentateuco. Very good. Now, Hebrew. Let's start by. ¿Qué significa la palabra hebreo? Hebreo means to cross over. Eso es lo que significa la palabra. Hebreo means to cross over. So you have Abraham. He was en la ciudad de Ur. And he crossed over to Canaan. You got the Hebrews. They were in Egypt and they crossed over the Red Sea and the Jordan River. So hebreo significa to cross over. Hebreo, it is, sí es una raza. Not every Jew is a Hebrew. But most of the Hebrews are Jews. Now, you could be a gentil. ¿Qué significa gentil? Gentil is someone that didn't come from the Hebrews. From Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Eso es gentil. We are gentiles. You could become a practitioner of the law. Si eras gentil. So they exit Egypt. And when they go from Egypt, dice la escritura, salieron los que eran naturales y no naturales. So when they exit Egypt, you got all the Hebrews, the Israelis living, but with them, you got people that were not Hebrew. And those people are gentiles. But they decide to practice Judaism. And so the name we're going to call these people are proselitos. And what does proselyto means? To add on, añadirse. So it's like, for example, let's say Jonathan. He has a huge party. He grills steaks and barbecue wings and pasta and carne asada, beans. He's the people. So él invita, who are you going to buy from this room? Be nice. No. Él invita a todos menos a mí. Right? All of you are invited. I'm not invited to the party. And all of a sudden I go, David, where are you going? And David says, a la fiesta. And I'll go, hey, Joanna, where are you going? A la fiesta. What fiesta? The Jonathan. Oh man, I want to go too. But you guys say, but you are not invited. So myself and I include myself in your group. And I try to enter the party, and Jonathan is like in the entrance. He's like, and then me ve a mí y dice, where are you going? I'm like, I am part of the party. I was Aran. He's like, no, you're not. That means Aran, prosélito. En a prosélito es de raza de gentil, pero que practica la ley de Moisés. ¿Ok? En la Iglesia, antes de Cristo, había solamente judíos. Y no gentiles, porque a un gentil que era judío se le llamaba prosélito. Levanten las manos si me están entendiendo. Okay, so the 3,000 were what? ¿Ah? Bautizados. Fueron bautizados, pero ¿qué eran ellos? No. Judíos. So the Church of Christ, la Iglesia de Cristo, al principio solamente eran judíos. So, si son solamente judíos, ¿qué practican ellos? And if they go back to their towns, where do they worship? It's the synagogue. So they continue to practice what they practiced before, but now they have the teachings of Christ. Are you following me? Muy bien. Chapter 2 of the book of Acts. Hechos 2. We go forward, chapter 10. And then what happens? Chapter 10. For the first time in the history of the church, por 8 capítulos solamente tienes judíos en la iglesia de Cristo. Let's read. Hechos 10. Let us read. Vamos a leer Hechos 10. Verso 14. Hechos 10, 14. Now you have Peter, Pedro. ¿Qué raza era Pedro? What race? Hebrew. Very good. What was his religion? Judíos. Right? He was part of a synagogue. Correct? What was the synagogue at? Capernaum. That's where he used to live. Capernaum, which means the city of Nahum. Okay? So you go to chapter 10, you have Pedro, un apóstol, for 8 chapters. He continues to practice the Torah, the law of Moses. But he has the teachings of Christ. How do we know that? Because the Bible says so. Mira cómo dice ahí la Biblia. 10, versículo 14. El que lo tenga lo puede leer.
Entonces Pedro dijo, Señor, no, porque nos hacen cosas como una inmunda.
Muy bien. Pedro no comía cosa como uno inmunda. I'm going to ask you. Do you guys like Whataburger? You do? No, you don't. Do you like bacon? So you love bacon, right? We're like a bacon kind of country. Well, I'll tell you what. If you go to Israel today, because I've been to Israel many times, you go to Israel and you go to a Jewish hotel and you go to the chef and he's like doing the omelets, right, for you? And you tell him, I want eggs and ham or eggs and bacon, they will take you out of the hotel. Yes. Why? Huh? Because bacon comes from pigs, pork. And pork is forbidden in the law of también el jamón. Now, if you go to Israel today and you go to the Jewish quarter in Jerusalem and you get there and you go, may I have, give me a nice Italian plate. Huh? What's an Italian plate? Huh? Fettuccine Alfredo. One more time. Another one. Spaghetti. Otro. Lasagna. Whoa. If you say lasagna to the Jewish restaurant, they will kick you out. Why? Cheese. Cheese? No, you're doing good. Why cheese? Because the law of Moses prohíbe to mix milk with meat. Do you know that? In fact, you go to McDonald's in Israel, you cannot say I want a cheeseburger. Because you have meat plus cheese. It's a no-no. You can have a hamburger, but not together. Because that's a sin in the law of Moses. Huh? Voila. So now, you got Peter. Pedro le dice, baja el lienzo. Pedro está en Job. This is the apostle Pedro, okay? Está en Job. Baja el lienzo y ¿qué ve ahí? Animales que son prohibidos, como el puerco. Now, do you like chicharrón? You like pork skin? You do? ¿Quién le gusta chicharrón? Well, you all sinners to the Jewish people. Do you like ham? You all sinners to the Jewish people. You like carnitas? You are sinners to the Jewish people. You like lasagna? You all sinners to the Jews. You like pizza? Unless it's cheese only. So, Pedro, for 8 chapters, he did not eat something that was... No, something que era un animal sucio, mundane. Y le dice a Dios, come. Y he's like, no, es que yo nunca he comido. ¿Qué te dice eso? Que Pedro practicó la ley de Moisés por 8 capítulos. Now, finally he eats, porque le dice a Dios, lo que yo he limpiado no lo llames inmundo. Come. Y por primera vez lo invitan a una casa, ¿a la casa de quién? Cornelio, que era un centurión. ¿Qué es un centurión? Una persona que está encargada de 100 soldados romanos. ¿Ok? He's a Roman person. Y él es un gentil. Pedro llega a su casa, Pedro le predica el evangelio, y él cree. And he will become, with his family, the first Gentiles to be part of the Church of Christ. So with this scenario, everything changes. Now you have in the church Jews and Gentiles. Tomorrow, we will see pictures of the synagogues where the Church of Christ was established, and we will understand how they used to live in the first century. And I will open the next half an hour, that gives a long time, for questions, or maybe you want to understand something a little bit better. Preguntas. And or what did you learn today? Yes.
Dice que en el sinagoga antes de entrar se bautizaban ahí las mujeres también.
Yes. Especially when? Cuando estaban en su periodo. Yeah. They will have to. This is part of them. Because to them, cuando las mujeres estaban en su periodo, they were not pure to God. So they had to go through this cleansing process. Yes. Preguntas. Yes.
What if you go to the hotel in Israel and you say the same thing and they kick you out but you go back in? What happens?
If they kick you and you go back in, you will not order. You can go back in, but you cannot order eggs with ham. You cannot. Tienen que entender que los israelitas el día de hoy, en la mayoría todavía practican la ley de Moisés. So you cannot just get there and just change everything. ¿Verdad que no? You can't. This is one of the only states in the world that is attached to the religion.
How about chicken noodle soup?
Chicken noodle soup, that's okay. It's okay.
But you can't push the elevator button.
No.
All the elevator stops at every floor because you can't make a fire. They
Correct.
want you to make a spark.
Correct. But only one day.
Yeah, only on Saturday
Why?
because it's the Sabbath. You can't
Yeah.
work on Saturday.
You cannot work. So if you go to the elevator, they have reprogrammed all the elevators, only just one out of the whatever they have. So when an Orthodox Jew go in, they just wait, and that thing will open in every floor. Because if you press the button, that means you're working. I'm telling you, and you're sinning. Huh? Yes. Preguntas. Preguntas. Wow. ¿Qué aprendieron hoy? Did you learn anything new?
Never say
Never say egg and ham? Oh, very good. When you go to Israel, very good. ¿Qué aprendieron? What else? ¿Ah? La leche con carne, you don't mix it. Very good. What else? ¿Ah? ¿Ah? ¿Qué? The Rabboni, number one. Then Rabbi. Now, eso pasa también en la iglesia today. If you think about it, that happens in the church too. Now, if you have a big church, okay? See, if you have a big problem, you go to the youth minister, right? But most of the time, they don't know what they're doing because they're learning to become ministers. So they will always go to the minister, the pulpit minister. But sometimes the pulpit, we don't know what we're doing. So they go to the elders, and they will make the call. It's very similar. That's what they used to do. Now we have deacons, they have deacons. We have rabbis, we have preachers. So in fact, the Church of Christ is like a copy of the synagogue. with the teachings of Christ. Okay, yes.
I got another question.
Yes.
What happens if you go to Israel and then get your own pizza? What happens?
Well, if you go to Israel and make your own pizza, that will be okay, but you cannot make it in a Jewish home because they will not be able to cook anymore. Because it has been contaminated. Preguntas. Questions. ¿Qué más aprendieron? Caleb.
What happens if, like, for example, you go to a Jewish hotel and the chef is not Jewish, he secretly makes you what you want? What would happen?
Well, he will get fired pretty much. He will get like fire. Like, unless you go to Palestine, which is a Muslim majority, then he'll be okay. They'll do whatever you want because they need the money. Preguntas. Ali, did you learn anything new? What did you learn?
I have a question.
Huh?
I have a question.
Oh, go ahead.
So, were los gentiles fueron aceptados por los judíos? No.
We're going to see that tomorrow. They had a hard time accepting, the Jews couldn't accept the Gentiles. It's like today. I mean, I know the brothers here, but I'll tell you today, okay? So, are we accepted completely by Anglos? Come on, you guys are Latinos. The brother is in Christ. He won't tell the others over there.
I'm not telling anybody.
Okay. Yeah. Be honest. Are we completely accepted by the Anglos? Huh? No? Why? Why? Because I want you to think about this. If you are with an American church, or some of you might be, and you do like a potluck, right? You bring food, right? ¿Qué hace tu mamá? Your mom makes like, she's making like a menudo, pozole, right? She makes this great Mexican or Latino plate. And then, ¿qué hacen los Anglos? They make like mashed potatoes, right? And vegetables, right? Macaroni, yeah? And then, I want you to look at the table, and we serve menudo, right? The skin, las patas de los cerdos, right? And so you have an Anglo here and you have a Latino here. And we're like eating like, right? They wouldn't like that because to them, and I talk to them, I mean, to them it's like a lot of grasa. How would you eat that skin? Yeah. For us it's like tasty, right? So the acceptance had to do with culture, food. Número dos, why don't you feel accepted? I mean, you speak the language better than me. I have an accent, so you don't, most of you. Why don't they accept you? Go ahead. No somos de aquí ni de allá. What else? Yes. Skin color, right? We're not from here, from there.
Okay, I wanted to make sure I understood.
Yeah. Skin color. So what's wrong with our skin? It's a little darker. Most of us, not everybody, we tend to be what? Shorter, right? So that in that way we're different. I'm not saying no estamos generalizando. I'm just giving you examples. Now I want you to think about the Jewish people and the Gentiles, okay? The Gentiles, when they came to the church, eran paganos. Eran polytheistas. They used to worship many gods. They used to eat things that Jews didn't eat. So I want you to imagine a potluck back in the first century. Now you have right here cabrito, you have grilled lamb, the Jewish, and right here you got chicharrón. Right here you have rice, and right here you have quesadilla con chorizo. Right here you have bread, see, and right here you have blood, grilled. This is two types of people. They will gather for a potluck. The Jews will be like, "Oh man, you guys are crazy, man! I'm not gonna eat no pork. I have never eaten pork." Eso fue lo que dijo Pedro. And the Gentiles were like, "This is very good, man. You should try it. Salty." Ooh. Right? The first. Number 2. The Jewish people had an idea about sanctity, about how to behave, about family. They will commit to one woman, to one wife, about a family, about God, only one God. The Gentiles, man, they were crazy because some of their religions in the Greco-Roman culture was about having sex in the temples. We'll talk about that tomorrow. Okay, so to them, they didn't have to be loyal to one woman. They could be whatever. And to some of them, they could be lesbians or homosexuals. It was okay within their culture to be that. So when you have somebody like that coming to somebody like this, they crash. They're like, oh. One more thing. ¿Qué le hacían a los judíos when they were 8 years old? 8 days old? Circumcised. You know what circumcision is? I'll teach you. Ready? You want to learn? Don't cry. It's okay. This right here is your genitals. Right? Right here on the top of it, you have skin. They will cut the skin. So when you grow up, as an adult, you don't have this skin anymore. The Jewish people didn't have it. The Gentiles had it. So when you go to a public bathroom, because back in the day, you don't have separations in the toilets. Si vas a un baño aquí, you go to a bathroom, here is the toilet, right? You see it? There is a wall here, and a door here, right? And you're in private, right? You're like, right? Right? But back in the day, in the first century, los baños were 2-3 times as big as this. All right? And the toilets, ready? They're long. One hole, one hole, one hole. And everybody joins together. They don't have privacy. They're like, how you doing? Right? So they're like this, right? And when they need to clean themselves, there is no toilet paper. No, there's like a channel of water going through here. And how do they clean themselves? Yes. Don't get grossed up. And they will just like water, clean themselves. Or they could pick up a sponge in the entrances and with the sponge clean themselves and then throw it away. So they would have to clean themselves with the hand. And if there was another guy next to each other, they're like, how you doing? Give me 5, boy. I give you 5. Gotta clean your hand first. Are you following me? But they could see their private parts. So in the bathrooms, they knew who was a Jew and who was a what? So to them, a Gentile is impure. So imagine the church. All of a sudden, you get a church. Jews, Gentiles coming together. Going to the bathroom. Jews didn't want to sit in the same toilet. Jews didn't want to eat the same food. Jews thought they were impure. They had a hard time. And that was the Church of Christ in the beginning. Por eso Pablo dice en Romanos 14, dice, el reino de los cielos no es de comida ni de bebida. Because they were thinking, well, when we have a potluck, we can even... But the kingdom of God has nothing to do with food or drinks. It's about gozo, paz y amor. But that's how the Church of Christ was in the beginning. Ali, did I answer your question? Isn't that cool? Well, not that cool, but you know that's the reality. Yes?
Did they have like clean water or did they use...
They had the cleanest water in the universe. Because the Romans were good. I'm going to tell you something. Have you guys been to Rome? Italy? You should go to Rome, Italy. The nice open museum. Listen, if you go to Rome today, I was in Rome, we were in Rome like last month, okay? If you go to Rome, they have fountains of water all over the city. Pure. Agua potable like flowing. You get there, you can drink the water. And the water keeps running and running. You buy a bottle of water and you feel it there. And you don't pay nothing. And it's nice and cool. The Romans were important because they used to have potable water all over the city. Okay, any questions? ¿Alguna pregunta más? You guys got it? See you guys tomorrow. If I don't see you, you didn't like the class. If I see you, you liked it. Don't worry. I have good self-esteem. You won't hurt me. Okay? God bless you guys. Let's continue with the event.